Hey babe,
Hey.
why don't you tell us a little bit about Resource Garden?
Sure. So here, I'm gonna turn it into a training session. So I have this bone marrow bone that me and Becky had for dinner last night, and I'm gonna give the rest to Esper. And she's had bones and stuff before, but this is probably the most high value thing that I would have ever given her. Here she's sitting, asking if it's okay to have it. You always need to be prepared. So I have her tools on here. I have her slip collar on because she's properly conditioned to that, and I have her training lead on. And here, I'm just going to give it to her, and I'm going to recall her away from it and send her back to it. So break. So they know that it's okay for her to have, and then she gets to have it and chew on it for a little bit. Check it out. And now I'm just going to recall her away from it. Esper, here. And I have her tool on here, so I can keep her accountable to doing that. Good job. Focus. Get it. I'm just gonna let her have it for a little bit, and then we'll keep recalling away from it as she goes. Esper, here. Good. So that time the recall was a lot smoother because she knows that recalling doesn't mean that she's not allowed to have it anymore. Get it? And then after we do this a few times, then you'll be able to recall your dog away from something high value super easy. Esper, here. Good. Yes. Yeah, girl. I'm just kind of letting her do her thing. Ooh, she got some meat on there.
So why shouldn't anyone just go up and grab the bone right now? Like, why shouldn't I just go up and grab it?
You can with some dogs, but with other dogs, you know, it's a dog's instinct to guard things of high value. You know, they don't want it to be taken away, so they're going to do what they need to do to hold on to it. So you want to turn it into a different kind of experience where they don't have the opportunity to guard it, so that behavior then goes and gets reinforced and becomes a problem for you to deal with later. So you don't want your dog to think that just because it's getting taken away, that means it's getting taken away forever. You want it to just be, you know, something where just an exchange. I take it and I give it back, and you take it and I give it back. So that way the resource guarding doesn't happen at the first place. That's good. So I'm just making this a normal thing where I go and take it and give it back.
Hey babe,
Hey.
so what is resource guarding?
So resource guarding is when a dog is defending something of value that they perceive to be valuable. So that could be running away with the item, like a sock or a bone, something like that. Or it could be an aggressive behavior where they're barking, growling, lunging, and biting.
Gotcha. Can you give me some examples of what dogs would resource guard?
Yeah, it can be anything that the dog sees as something of value. So it can be a bone, it could be a toy, it could be a sock, it could be their dog bowl, it could be a baby, it could be you. Anything that they see of value that could be taken away.
So can you tell me how to avoid resource guarding?
Yeah, so resource guarding comes from the dog wanting to defend something that they see as valuable, right? So don't put them in that situation in the first place where they feel like they need to go and defend it. Turn it into a different kind of experience. So I want to create an experience where I give it to them and then they come off it for a while and I give them something else and then they go back to it. So it's not something that's being taken away, so the dog doesn't feel like they need to defend it in the first place. So like here, Esper knows that if I go and take it, I'm going to give it back. So I'm going to use the obedience that she understands to communicate what's going on. Esper, drop. So she knows that means stop. I'm going to take it because she expects that. She knows it's going to happen. It's not surprising her. And then I'm going to give her that back. Great. So she knows she's going to get it back, so she doesn't feel like she needs to defend it. Remember, if your dog has something of value, sometimes it's better to just let laying dogs lie. Unless you're turning it into an intentional training session, it's important that your dog feels like they have space to relax and do their thing too and enjoy that thing of value. And And if you have kids, keep the kids away from a dog that has something of value. You know, kids probably aren't going to understand how to turn it into a train session, how to use the obedience that they understand, to communicate with them, to expect what's about to happen. So if we had kids running around the yard right now, I probably wouldn't give her the bone in the first place. I'd put her in her crate, and she can enjoy the bone in there, where she can be in peace. So always be aware with kids.
Okay, great. So what do I do if my dog is already resource guarding?
So if your dog's already resource guarding, they're already showing the aggressive behavior or maybe defensive behavior, they're running away with it. Maybe you're afraid that your dog's going to bite you. If you go and try to take that thing away and you don't have the obedience to navigate your dog through that situation, communicate efficiently, I would hire a trainer so that you can teach your dog a foundation of obedience to navigate you through that situation and use that obedience to create behavior modification. It can be a tricky thing. Teaching the dog drop properly, teaching them the proper recall, recalling away from something of value, should all be things that you include in that. But in the meantime, try to keep things of value off the ground. Don't give it to them in the first place. Try to keep your socks in the hamper instead of on the floor. You know, if they're gonna act up, they don't get that stuff. Period.